Hey, welcome back to the channel. I know it's not morning and I've got water, right? I have a little bit of good news. I was out hunting this morning and I got an 8-point. So I saw one other buck. But I've seen over a dozen different bucks this season. But now this is the last week, going into the last weekend, and then next weekend is muzzleloading. So I decided that beggars can't be choosers, right? If you want some meat in the freezer. So I ended up taking him and I'm thrilled right to death. So what's the topic today? The topic today is the horrors, what the lawnmowers that I hate to see come our direction to get work done, and even snowblowers. So stay tuned. Alright, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about those mowers and snowblowers that your customers bring into you to have you work on it. And they think it's going to be a simple fix. And the catch-all is, well, I got a deal. They had it out front for sale in their yard. Most people, when they want to get rid of something, it's because it's costing them too much money. So if it's sitting out by the road, good chances are they're just tired of fixing it. It just costs too much. But I will have at least, on average, 8 to 10 customers a year that will go buy one of these on the side of the road, pay $300 to $400, and they don't know enough about the mowers to be able to see any possible issues. The normal thing is they drop it off, right? And they say, well, it's got a fat tire and it was running kind of rough, but I can't get it started today. And just give it the once over in a service. It shouldn't take much. Right. Because I know my customers and I know what machines they have. So I'm like, where'd you get this one? Well, I got it on the side of the road. It was a great deal. All right. So we get the mower in, hoping it's going to be a quick fix, which it normally isn't. Go ahead and tube the tire. Because, it's leaking faster than you can put air into it. And Claude loved that because someone had already slimed it, thinking that was going to fix it. Let me know what you think about that. We've had very little luck with this slime that's out there and this tire stuff that you put in your tires. But Claude hates it when he sees that when it comes in, because he's got to clean that all out and then take and put in a new tube, unless the customer wants to spend the money on a new tire, which most of them don't. They just want to, if we can tube it and it'll work, that's what they want. So we go ahead and we tube the back tire, right? And the next thing is, I want to hear it run. So we give it a shot of carb cleaner and it starts right up, but then dies. But I know that an engine with low compression will start up on carb cleaner and die. So take the compression tester and put the tester on it, and it's got decent PSI on it. So we put the plugs back in, and for some reason the automatic shutoff on the bottom of the carburetor is not functioning. Well, it's not functioning because that machine is sat for 3 to 4 years. So when we take that off, it's all this green crud. You can hear it trying to move, but it can't move in there. It's just, and the carburetor is the same way. So we take the carburetor off, soak that for a couple days, finally get the on the bottom of the carburetor, that shuts the fuel off. We get that functioning again. Drain the gas, new plugs, new gas, clean carburetor with a carburetor kit in it, The engine run. So we think, well, we're going to get out of this not too bad for the customer. But then we go to engage the deck. And something's not right with the deck. So we take a look, and one of the blades are bent. And that blade that got bent, whatever it hit, it broke the aluminum housing on the spindle for the mower. So we go ahead. You don't put on just one mower blade. Order the set, put the set on, put a brand new spindle on, got that all hooked up, got the blades so they would start up but they wouldn't stop. Alright, now you got brakes. The brakes aren't working on the deck. So you put a set of brakes on. Are you following me? Every time I say something, it's costing this customer more and more and more. Now, for this particular machine, the customer gave $400 for it. And we're getting close to that in just parts and labor to fix it. So now they're going to be in at over $800. But it doesn't end there, because Claude tells me the drive belt, it got a big chunk missing out of it. We order a drive belt. Put a drive belt on it. Go to move it, and it's not moving right. It's a hydrostatic. Check the fluid, because those hydrostatics, they don't have, a fluid checker. You got to pop the thing and then top it off, and then we get the kit so you can put the new plug back in it. Oh, a week and a half, 2 weeks later, we get it running, but now we're at $500 to $550 into that machine. Now they're at $950 for that machine. And we haven't done the oil change yet on it either. I guess what I'm trying to say is, these machines that these people are customers, and I'm sure you have customers that do the same, that they're looking for a good used lawnmower. And I try telling customers, be careful, buyer beware. If you don't know what you're looking at, good chances are you're going to get burnt. Period. Take somebody along with you that knows what they're talking about. And we have in the past, and they paid us. Eric, can you send one of your guys out to take a look at this lawnmower at this address and tell me if it's worth this amount of money? And they pay us one way or the other, so we have no skin in the game. And it's either a yay or a nay. And we're always going to side on our customer side, not on the seller side. I mean, most repair shops are like, wait a minute, the more repairs you get, the more money you make, the more the shop makes. Everybody's happy. But that's not the case, because my golden rule here is I will not put anything more into a machine that I put into my own without first asking permission. So by keeping the customer advised on what's going on, most often when we start getting up there, the customer will say, stop. We had another one where the customer called us, and they had bought a piece of property, and they inherited through the property a riding lawnmower, which was an old gray Craftsman. They got a walk-behind trimmer, and what the heck was the other? Pressure washer? And snowblower. And she couldn't wait to have us pick them up and get them running for her. And she'd already had it in her mind that she'd never had a snowblower at her own property, that when it got fixed to bring it back to her property. And as Jason always points out, we did a compression check on all three of those units, and not one of them had enough compression to run it. So in that case, which I'll be honest with you, I charged her like $110 to take a look at them to see what we could do, and then have to tell her the bad news. We still haven't been paid for that. And then in my book, the worst of the worst are what I call Frankenstein machines. And that's where somebody has swapped engines, swapped deck, swapped cowls, and you can't order parts like you normally can, by having the model number and looking it up, blah, blah, blah. Because now, the engine is not so bad, because if it's a Briggs, it's on the, valve cover, Kohlers, again, not that hard. But when it comes to the mower deck, that you just swapped out a 38 with a 42 that you've worked over because you've had a good set of cutting torches and welder, and you've made it work, and now you have a non-matching deck belt, non-matching drive belt, non-matching deck spindles, blades, on and on and on for that unit. And when I see those coming, especially Claude, when he sees them coming, he's like, no. And the reason is it's going to cost that customer even more to try to fix a Frankenstein machine, because of the time it's going to take to try to figure out what it is they need and what's going to fit. And most often the case, it's not worth putting the money into. Because if anybody owns a Frankenstein machine and they put it out front for sale, it's not a winner. That they're just trying to get up from underneath it. See, a lot of those things should go for scrap, I'll be honest with you. I had plenty of Frankenstein machines that we bought for parts machines, because I knew that, like the engine, if it was a V-twin Briggs and the engine ran good, I would buy the unit just for the engine, basically. But I wouldn't put on to a customer's machine unless it was that V-twin, certain horsepower, and I would mount that up if the engine was blown. Because what I've found with most of the engines, let me know what you guys think, but for the most part, my customers won't pay to have an engine rebuilt. We used to rebuild a lot of engines because the cost to replace them was so much that we would just go ahead and rebuild the engine and put it back on. But this day and age, most of the stuff is throwaway. So, we've seen tillers come in here and the engine be bad on them. And if you want to replace it with, a Troy built, what they recommend for an engine, blah, 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 you're going to set you back some good money. Whereas you can go to Harbor Freight for around $100, get one with a warranty, slap it on, easy peasy, right? So that's why we're not doing engine rebuilds anymore for lawnmowers, because people don't want to pay the money, period. Okay, so I'm going to start wrapping this up. I want to thank all you guys that posted comments of what we could be doing to pick up work here or there, and it's greatly appreciated. I've always felt that this channel was give and take, and that means if it's something that we can use, we'll try it, What's the worst that can happen? It don't work, right? But thank you for being as freely with your information as I have been with mine. That's I guess what I'm trying to say. So here I'm going to post a picture of me with the deer, so if any of you people are squeamish, if you see a little bit of blood, you may want to look away or hide the children or something like that. So, and on that note, you guys have a great day. And I should be here tomorrow morning with my cup of coffee. I apologize. All right. You guys have a great day.